It all starts with a gigantic tree that took root in this country. Its name was Egg Drizzle. It quickly grew and covered the entire world. Along with it, countless worlds appeared that seemed to be based on games. One of them was called Labyrinth, and people knew it as the game of the gods. The problem is that not everyone could become one of those players. In what looks like a construction mine, people are finishing their shift. Among them, there's a guy there with an orange jacket taking off his helmet. When suddenly someone comes from behind and tells 77 that he did a good job today, he's got some good stuff to trade, and asks if he wants to buy it for very little. There was a data card, and he's sure it's one of the good ones. But in the middle of the old man's explanation, the kid just runs off. The old guy keeps thinking that this bastard thinks too much of himself. But he's just like everyone else in that place. A useless piece of trash abandoned by everyone, just like all those who are there. Beneath the splendor of all the riches that Egg Drizzle brought, obviously, there are the broken and bankrupt folks. And in the middle of all that, there was a slot machine shop. The protagonist grabs the doorknob and already hears people inside shouting or demanding their points back. He walks up to one of the machines while everyone is yelling, wanting to bet one more time and saying that this time they'll change their life. As he sits in the chair, he welcomes the place where everything can change. The good little random box legalized betting for those who want to chase fortune. And there goes the protagonist trying once again to change his life. The rare item available today was a permission to create an account. For the protagonist, this might have been the only chance he ever have. On the screen and asks if he wants to open 10 boxes and he obviously clicks yes, saying he still has hope. The first box then comes down from the skies and he receives an incredible N-rank toothbrush. Man, N-rank. He had never even seen a rank that low at this point. We're about to hit, I don't know the Greek alphabet. He obviously just moves on to the next box. But by the pile of trash building up behind him, you can tell he's not having much luck. Another N-rank, then comes an R-rank, which is more trash. He's heard of things like SR and SSR exist, but he's been through this countless times and has never seen anything like that. Remembering his mom in the hospital, all he wanted was a chance. That's when something shone in front of his eyes. The machine was glowing like a galaxy. He wondered if that was an SR, but by the light coming from the skies, it looked more like an SSR, which is a super special rare. Now that I think about it, I never even knew what SSR actually stood for. The protagonist is shaking all over, saying to himself, he never imagined this day would come. Holding the card in his hand, he says that not giving up until now was worth it. Finally, he could be a part of Yggdrasil. This was a permission to create an account. You could become part of the Labyrinth, which was based on countless games. And of course, the only way to access them was by creating an avatar with an account. Even though the avatars were virtual bodies that didn't exist in reality, you could bring items from the Labyrinth into the real world. And those items brought from there were worth a fortune and changed the way society worked. Nowadays, the entire society revolves around Yggdrasil. And the ones running everything are the top gamers. Hee. Looks like the game turned, didn't it? A slap in the face of all the moms who say playing 10,000 hours of League of Legends is a waste of time. I have to be ready. If Yggdrasil shows up, who knows? The problem is, in this world, only a few people receive the right to create an account. And now, already running the smile on his face, he finally became one of the lucky ones. He opens the door excited, saying this is his chance to start everything over. But the moment his face is outside, he takes a club hit right in the mouth. Next second, he's lying on the asphalt. Little by little, he regains consciousness, obviously not understanding what just happened. The boss then asks if this is the guy, and the tattooed one replies yes. The lucky one, who actually was unlucky since they saw that he got it. The guy grabs the card and hands it to the boss, who looking at it, says he never thought there was one of these cards, except in those extremely expensive auctions. The protagonist, though, grabs some of the guy's pants and says he can't take it. He was the one who got it from the machine. But bro, we're in the favela, right? Where there's no money, there's no police either. Did you like that heavy social critique? The boss just orders them to stomp on the kid. With that, our boy gets turned into a pancake. But even while getting beaten up, he grabs the boss again and demands he give the account back. The guy that grabs his head and asks if he forgot what it's like to live in this world as an aimless nobody. Anything good he gets from the shop has to be paid for. After all, they run things around here. But not wanting to be unfair, he says he'll give the kid a gift. He touches his forehead, saying they always make fair trades. With that, the protagonist receives 30,000 points in his system, which was enough for one more single spin on the roulette. The guy tells him that with this, he took what the kid got in one spin, and now the kid can take another. So it's even before our boy could even complain, boom, face first on the asphalt again. But the kid is stubborn and once more goes to grab the guy's pants. But man, he may be tough, but he's still human, right? He just drops the ground for good. With that, it starts raining and the guys stay there heading out to eat something good, while leaving our boy there man-kissing the asphalt. One of the bald guys then tells the boss to take a look. The kid was actually getting back up. The guys get understand how the hell this bastard is still managing a stand. Then the system starts giving some alerts that his vital signs were dropping. He originally needed to get to the Mirror's hospital as fast as possible. The boss starts wondering if maybe he accidentally went easy on the guy because it just doesn't make sense. And the protagonist, once again, starts heading back to the betting shop man. Some don't believe it, while others say that the kind of dedication needed to get an SSR. But whatever, they're gonna stick around and keep an eye on him. And if he gets something good again, they'll just do another fair trade. The bald guy though asks what they're gonna do if the kid dies in the shop. To which the boss replies that they'll just take the body out of there. And that's it. After all, he's a nobody, unknown, so no one's gonna care. Meanwhile, the system keeps warning the protagonist that his vital signs keep dropping. The pain is kind of fading away like he was about to lose consciousness. Breathing was hard, he couldn't even hear what people around him were saying. Completely shaking. He walks through the crowd. He goes to one of the betting machines, but falls to the ground, drags himself, and stands back up to try one last spin. He reaches with his finger to press the button. But the system warns that his vitals had reached a critical state. At that moment, all he could think was that his life really had been trash. That's when in the middle of the place, everyone seemed to see the address or tree itself. The boss couldn't even tell what exactly that was because of how much it was glowing. And suddenly, the protagonist's body started to look kind of digitalized. The system says an emergency has been detected, and the condition was red. The only rescue method was a force conversion into a character. And with that, the Yggdrasil system asks him to choose the character's name. Suddenly, the protagonist finds himself with a name Rookie. He's there, kind of confused, not understanding where he is or what's happening. A message then says that because he leaked confidential information from the guild, he was banned. He looks around saying he would never do something like that. But the verdict is given, and all charges are accepted. With that, his ranking is removed. The protagonist is being recognized that voice and two strange entities welcome him to the life of a nobody. Our guy tries to defend himself, saying he didn't do anything. But a hunted figure approaches from the side, saying it's too late now. It was time for 70 to 17 to get up. With that, he wakes up, and looking to the side, he sees himself in a strange digital world. That place really didn't feel like reality, and he didn't know if he was dead or if this was the afterlife. But suddenly, a strange object that looked like some kind of bracelet appears and tells him to select a name. Our boy asked why the hell there was a floating vacuum cleaner talking to him. But the little robot told him to show some respect. It was the system box known as iGun. Then it congratulated him for being the first person in existence to get a UR-ranked item. The boy had no idea what the hell that thing was talking about. As far as he knew, SSR was the highest rank. iGun then said it would explain that where he was now was right in the middle of the dividing line between reality and the virtual world. And the reason he needed a name now was to finish the conversion and access the labyrinth. But our boy knew that for that, he needed an avatar and a game account. However, the robot says that's just a human limitation. He, on the other hand, doesn't need anything like that. Besides that, because of the critical state he was in, he initiated a forced conversion, connecting his body to a drizzle. Without further delay, he was supposed to go ahead and pick the character name so they could start this. Our protagonist still hadn't understood anything. He didn't know if this was a dream or reality. But there was a chance that this was the opportunity he had been meeting. And with that, he chooses the name Ryuki. The settings are competitive and he begins to be transferred to the labyrinth game. The moment he opens his eyes, he finds himself in a world called Phantom. He stood still for a few moments without saying anything, feeling the wind hitting his hair and his feet firm against the ground. That was completely different from any simulation he had ever experienced. Apparently, this was the labyrinth he